Welcome to Visual Journaling Sunflowers. I recently went to Burnside Farms here in Northern Virginia and collected a variety of different sunflowers. And as you can see here, they come in so many amazing different shapes and sizes. This one here is really cool. It's like almost furry. These are really rather small with the beautiful, you can see how the seeds grow, the seed pattern. Here in this one, oops, sorry. We have the dark center with the very light petals. And then here along the outside edge, there's a ring where the seeds are growing a little differently than the ring in the middle, and then the very center has a very different ring yet again. This one here is a lovely example of the math that happens in a sunflower and in flowers and how they grow. Really, again, a beautiful image. Here we have a couple of fabulous, just rich colors, right? Again, the different ways that the seeds grow in there as they're developing, but they're all following this fractal pattern. And I don't have the math to go more into detail on that, but and then I just love this one with this sort of maroon ring with the light yellow and then the dark in the center. And then these are all dark maroon. These large sort of traditional sunflowers, sorry for the finger there, came from Wegmans a few weeks ago. Or a week ago, I should say, just 1 week ago. And again, you can see as the sunflower ages and grows and how each one is slightly different, right, in how they are showing their seeds and the patterns in them. So lots of variety there. I think for this, we will use the large sunflower as our sample. And I'm going to swivel us down to the page. Your tools today, I will be using a drawing pencil, a regular eraser. I'm going back and forth yet on whether or not I'm going to go with the watercolor or colored pencil or a combination thereof. If I use the watercolor, I'll probably use this Coatman set that I have. It's a Winsor & Newton. And then I will probably supplement it with these lip tube colors. And I'm going to have a sharpener. And the colored pencils, going to want a variety of yellows all the way into the ochres and even a little bit of orange, even though so I'm gonna just pull those out now. I need a sepia for the center. Here's a dark brown. I don't know if I have a sepia. The dark brown is the closest to that, I think, that I have. So those would be some of the colors to gather. And then I'm going to see if I could take a flower out without dismantling the entire vase. And when I use the liquid watercolors, I like to, this is just a yogurt lid. I like to have white. So if there's, you know, my palettes are pretty full of color. So I like to just use a lid for that sometimes. And then I'm going to try to put things where they aren't going to fall down. You look the least battered, and you look like somebody I can get at. So just let me go. Let's see here. Now my angle is going to be a little bit different than the angle that you'll be looking at because the camera is pointing straight down, and I'm going to try to get the light. Still working on the best lighting situation here, but hopefully that's got a good lighting. So because I'm working in colored pencil and watercolor, I want to have a really nice sharp pencil. This one is a 2B, so it's soft, but it's not a super soft. And as I'm starting, I'm going to think about proportions and sizes. Now, because I'm working in my journal, I'm not super worried if I spill into another page or spill off of the page, but I want to really sort of think about the structure of the plant and proportions. So the first thing I want to look at right now is, and again, even though there's a lot of math in here and it's actually pretty technical, I am not going to go technical. I am not a botanical illustrator, although that is a dream. I have not spent the time in the practice. So what I want to do right now is I'm just going to use my pencil to put the tip of the pencil close to the base of the petal and use my finger to measure the end of the petal. And what I want to find out is the size of the petal related to the center, the seed pod center. So I am seeing that the petals of the flower are a little more than half, right? They're about 2/3 to, man, they could be almost 3/4 of the way across, right? So when I start, I'm going to put in, look at that. So half of a petal is about the size of the center, maybe. Maybe, yeah, a little bit more than half. Okay. So as I'm setting this up, and I could actually just use this as a, so if I want my petals to not go off the page, I know that a petal coming here is going to need to be about that big. And if this is 3/4, if I figured center is about here, right, then I can do that. And then I can sketch a light circle. While the plant itself is an amazing, close to perfect circle, the human eye is going to be a lot more gracious if you don't try to make it perfect. So that, to explain, I could have set this circle on top and traced it. It's about the same size. And I would have gotten a nice, nice strong circle. But I've got all of these little edges. The end drawing doesn't want to have a perfect, straight, fabricated line on it. My eye expects to see little bumps and variations in the edges of the circles. Same with the petals, right? My eye expects to see that they're going to be shorter and longer, and that they're not going to have come out of a cookie cutter machine. So as you're working, and I'm just going to do a circle to give me sort of a guide, and I want this one to be even lighter. So if you're not seeing a whole lot of line, that's somewhat intentional, right? I'm trying to make it so that it's going to either fade away as I work, or it's going to be easy to erase. So I've got those. I could put in now the center here. And is this, it's about the same. So I need to divide the center into thirds. I'm going to say that's approximately a third. Just so I have the guides there, right? I'm also not trying to do a pencil drawing, and so I don't want to do all of my work in pencil. If I do all my work in pencil and try to go over it with the watercolor and or colored pencils, all of that pencil is going to show through. I'll be frustrated because I won't see the bright yellow that I want to see. All right, petals. Again, lots of math. Lots of geometry. The basic shape of our petal, I'm going to steal a petal from another one of these. So here's one off of there. Basic shape of our petal is really an oval, right? So I want the shape of the oval to be, I know I want it, it's going to be about that long, and this is a pretty close to the same size as what I'm going to do there. So I'm just on this side, going to use this page as sort of a practice when I need it. So I'm going to start with the oval shape. And then how do I need to change it? As I look, how do I need to change it? So up here, this starts to come down. So I'm just going to bring that down a little bit. Comes more at an angle here. And then here at the base, as it comes back into the bottom where it attaches, I'm going to come around like that. So I notice this sort of dips in a little bit here. Could have done that a little bit better. This is my practice. I like to make my corrections and then erase at the end, because I can see the error. I can see the mistake and fix it and then redraw. Now, they're going to come at me at different angles. So I'm going to turn this petal in a different direction here and then repeat the process. So this is going to be here. Now it's not different shaped like those, but this at least gives me a start. And I'm just going around the edge of that oval. Now, if you look really, really closely here at the tip, and I've noticed it's consistent, the tip, it's just split just a little bit, at least on this plant. I haven't looked closely at all of the other variations of the sunflower to see if all of them are like that. So these are just going to be petals on their own. Now, I didn't take the time to put them in there, but really, when I'm thinking about the petals, these shadows, they're grooves, really. The way the petal is not a flat surface like a piece of paper. The petal actually has ridges and valleys in it. And those are actually going to help me with shading and color to help my petals to feel more 3D. So I'm going to sketch those in on here. And I'm just going to do one going this way yet. And if you have your own sunflower in front of you or another flower that you're using for this, and want to do different kinds, different shaped petals, please do, because each one of these is different. They are all similar, but they are not made by a machine. They are not made by a cookie cutter. And so each one is going to be a little bit different from the one that's growing next to it. I feel a little like one of my favorite Degas paintings from the Cleveland Museum of Art right now. It's a long horizontal, and it's got a series of, in my brain I'm seeing 5 dancers, and they're sitting on on chairs, and they are tying their ballet slippers. And if you study it very carefully, it's all the same girl, and Degas has just rotated around or made her turn her chair. I don't know. He was a little bit of a, but but they're all just, it's the same girl, and she's rotated around and turned. And so that's really kind of interesting to see how he was looking at perspective, right? And how he was looking at the same thing from different views. So I'm just going to do one more here, and I'll stay on the top just for a slightly different, because this one, well, I wanted to do it, there we go. So we see the side and the, doing the oval really does help. To be able to see then the variations and the way it undulates, and because they're practice, I'm really not going to spend a lot of time on the erasing part. moving. And I want to watch the curve here. The line is going to change at the edge there so that it... Okay. So that just gives me a feel for petals, right? I want to make sure that it comes in at the base of the petal here where it's attaching, and comes in again at the ends. So let me put those back over there and bring this back. I hope that's close to where we were. It's a flower. It's not gonna, nope, it's not gonna stand up any different. So I guess that's where we are. All right, so looking at this, what I see is that there's a row here, and then underneath there is a second, looks like it's 2 rows on this, possibly in some places 3. So I may have lost petals at some point, but it looks like there's 2 rows. So I have this initial row or ring of the top layer of petals, and then there's a layer that's going to be overlapped and hidden behind to a degree. So I'm going to start with those, and when I do flowers, I like to start with one, because you'll see here these are overlapping each other. This one is in front of this one, is in front of this one, is in front of this one. This one is now in front of the 2 behind it. So I'm going to start here. And I'm going to just start, I've got my length. This one looks like, if I'm using this as my standard, right? So it's going to come out here. There will be a few that come out beyond my circle, and there will a few that be inside the circle. So I'll just start with my oval. And I should warn you, I will probably not be finishing this in this video. What I think I will do is help get do a sort of 4 or 5 petals here in the front row, and then I'll do the layer behind. And then I'll probably take a pause in video, and we'll do a part 2 where we start to apply color and texture. So just as a warning there. Because while I'm not going for perfect, I'm finding the process of trying to focus on looking at these edges to be fairly meditative. And I want to take my time with it. So now my next one here is overlapped with this one. So I need to make sure that when I draw, I get behind it. So there is a little bit, sort of the pattern develops is a little bit of a triangle space, right? In between each of the petals. And I could have counted, I could have started here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Okay. If you want to be that mathematical and precise, that's awesome and fabulous. Please, by all means, go for it. I think my strategy for doing that then would be that I'd have to portion out and measure. So here we have 2. Is this going to work with the size, right? 4, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. We're going to be close. 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26. Some of them twist and turn a little bit more than others, so it could work out that I get the 28. I might even go around, so I've got 1, 2. I could do a quick, a little line, a little spoke, where I think I want each of those 28 to be. Right? Just to show that this is where the next one's going to go. And then I have an idea that I'm not making them too big or too little. I'm going to call that artist's choice here. And if that's the way you'd like to go, go ahead. My brain's really not connecting with that right now. It's connecting more with this shaping, for lack of a better word. Now this one from my perspective is really overlapped, and so I'm not going to see that triangle there. I'm just going to see comes so, and the little green dog is upset because we're having quite a brilliant rainstorm this morning. And he is slightly offended, both by the rain and also by the thunder. So, okay. Just wanted to check a minute to see how the darkness of my pencil. I'm probably working slightly darker just so that it shows up than what I would be working on a final artwork if I was doing something on really nice watercolor paper. The nice thing about this, because it's in my journal and because I've used my watercolors and my colored pencils in other exercises in my journal, I know how my tools are going to respond to the paper. So there's a top layer of 5. And if this is my, I feel like I need to put a mark on it so I don't forget. This is sort of my anchor petal. I've got this one and this one. And now I'm going to start that, and this one here. So now I'm going to start this back ring behind it. So I'm not going to draw the whole oval because that would really overlap a lot and make for a lot of erasing and a lot of lines. So I'm just going to think about the top of the oval. And so a lot of this ends up being a little bit, depending, it can be kind of fussy. And I'm just sort of moving a line a little bit more to the left, move a line a little bit more to the right, which is why I want to do it really lightly. All paper, when you mark on it, is subject to being dented. As soon as you write on it, your fingernail goes into it, it dents the paper. So that can impact the visual end of your work. So if you're working on really good quality paper, you really, really want to limit your marking and make your marks as lightly as possible. Because when you go back over them, especially with the colored pencils or if you use crayon, even the watercolor, it knows where those dents are. It feels those dents, and those dents show through in the end product. So in a journal, I'm not so worried about it. This is where I'm practicing my ideas. 1, 2, I'm here. And I'm just enjoying the meditation of slowly following lines, pushing them this way, pulling them that way. So now I'm here. This one, it's like almost an echo, right? A shadow. It really parallels the initial one. So now at the very end here, there's a twist. If I'm following this outside edge, it comes around. But now I'm seeing the back of the petal here. Just a little bit of it right there. I know, Puzzle, I hear that thunder. Shh. It's okay, it's not going to come inside. I promise. We have happy sunflowers to keep us from out of trouble. So now I'm noticing that this petal here in front is really angled over a little bit further. If that bothers you like it bothers me at the moment, I'm just going to push and pull that over. You could just leave it too. It's nature. Unless you show someone a photograph of the flower from the exact angle that you were drawing, no one's gonna know. And it'll be okay because it will look natural. If you're going to take if you have a sample flower that you're working from at home, and you're going to take a break to go walk the dog in the rain or have lunch, you may want to put it back in water temporarily. They are aging once, you know, everything that's born ages as soon as it's born. So you may want to put it back in water while you're not working with it so that you can preserve it a little bit longer. I've noticed that these sunflowers are pretty hardy. You know, like I said, I bought this and the other 5 big ones like this last Thursday already at the grocery store, and they've really held up well. If you buy sunflowers, I read that you should trim them about a ½ an inch off the bottom to an inch off the bottom every day. Or every other day, sorry. It was every other day they suggested. And refill the water. And I haven't even done that. I've just done the bare minimum. So you can make them last. All right. So this is the basics of petals. And as I mentioned, because I'm finding it really rather relaxing to just push and pull them, I'm gonna pause the video here and we will do part 2, adding color, in the next video. So if you're using this one, go ahead and stop the frame and pause it, and let's see if I can zoom in for you. I'll even turn it this way. Zoom in a little bit, and if you want to pause the video on this so that you have this flower, you can go ahead and do that and enjoy. So enjoy the patterns of petals.